Welcome to the Vibrant Health Podcast with your hosts, Lydia Shatney and Jessica Espinoza. Lydia is a nutritional therapist and founder of Divine Health from the Inside Out. Jessica is a real food wellness educator and founder of the website, DeliciousObsessions.com. Since this is a health-related podcast, it should be noted that the hosts are not licensed medical professionals. The information and advice provided in this podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, or prescribe for any illness or health issue and should not be construed as medical advice. And now, here are the hosts of Vibrant Health Podcast, Lydia Shatney and Jessica Espinoza.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode number 21 of the Vibrant Health Podcast. I am Jessica from DeliciousObsessions.com and JessicaEspinoza.com, and I'm here with my co-host, Lydia of Divine Health from the Inside Out.com. And today we have a very special guest with us, and we are so excited to get started. Lydia, do you want to pop in and say hi and introduce our guest?
Yes. Hello, everyone. This is Lydia. I'm here today with our special guest and a colleague of mine. Her name is Nanci Tunley. Nanci is also a nutritional therapy practitioner, and she is from California. She's got some wonderful self-care information and inspiration for us today that we know so many people need, especially this time of year, of course, always, but this time of year it can be busy. So we're going to kind of have Nanci inspire us today with her tips for, women who struggle to put themselves first and, need more self-care. So Nanci, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I have admired you both for years, so it's awesome to be able to share this information with you guys. Just to give you a little bit of background, like Lydia said, I am a nutritional therapist, and I've been in practice doing nutrition for over a decade. I've been a nutritional therapist for 2 to 3 years, and what I really noticed in the last couple of years was, some people were, I was really asking myself, how come some people were getting better and really diving into the information I was providing them, and some people were really dragging their feet, really having trouble following through? What's the difference in these people and how they see things? So I really went exploring for some training, and I found neuro-linguistic programming, and I found a certification called the Transformational Coaching Method with Holistic MBA, which completely changed my life, my practice, my results with my clients, and it's really based on, like I said, neuro-linguistic programming, family systems, and really making change at the level of behavior, of course, because that's what I originally set out to find out is how come some people are following through in the right behaviors, but then also belief, and really exploring that it really came down to what people believed was possible for them. So the simple act of drinking water, how come some people, just struggle just something so simple like staying hydrated? And so it really gave me the tools to be able to drill down and really get results with people. So it's completely changed my life, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys and more people in 2016.
That's awesome. That's something that I've struggled with. I think you're going to be diving into kind of mindset stuff with your clients, and that's something that I've been going through some mindset healing over the last year or so, and it's gotten really intense this fall as I've had some pretty big, revelations about why I was behaving in certain ways and things that have stemmed from childhood and, beliefs that I have. So that's a huge thing. I really feel like my health has been hindered by these issues. Yeah. So I love that you're addressing that. And that's actually one thing I'm going back to school, to NTA as well to become a nutritional therapy consultant. And that's kind of the direction that I want to focus on for a while. I don't know if I will actually practice in that area or where my journey will take me, but I see like so many struggles that I've had with getting my mind in the right place regarding healing and how I view my body and what I'm capable of and that kind of stuff that like, I just want to help people maybe skip some of the, like the years of struggle that I've had. So I love that we're talking about that today. So glad to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah. So, it's really about putting yourself at the top of the list every day. And that is so challenging, especially for women. I think we've all kind of chatted about that a little bit, and we can all relate to that. Something always seems more important than taking care of ourselves. And what's up with that? Why?
So yeah, let's talk about why self-care is important, first of all, because I know up until about a year ago, I mean, it sounds kind of silly considering how long I've been doing, I've been in the health and wellness field, but the term self-care really didn't become evident to me until about a year ago when I really started kind of following more people that were promoting self-care, and we kind of were diving deeper into my health issues, and I was realizing that I needed to do more of just taking care of myself just on a very basic level. So I think a lot of women don't even really understand what self-care is and why it's important. So can you talk a little bit about why this is so critical for all of us?
Absolutely, because, there are things in life that we all want. So it really starts with that, of really getting clarity about what you want to be experiencing in your life, what it looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like. And if you don't have clarity around that, then you're not willing to express what you want, what you really truly want, what's really in your heart and your soul, then self-care really has a hard time sticking, because there's no outcome. So it's not connected to the outcome. So you're taking care of yourself, and, a lot of people talk about knowing your why, right? Have you ever heard that? People talk about, well, you got to know why you're doing it. And okay, so that's part of it. But a lot of times the why has to be honest, and you have to be able to really feel into exactly, what your motivating factor is. So if you want to head in the direction of what your hopes and your dreams are and what you really truly want, then self-care is going to be the number one step of getting you what you really want. Not like what you kind of want, or, a lot of people will say, well, I want more joy. Well, I want to feel better. Well, I want, some things that are non-specific. So what I do with my clients is I have them get really, really specific. What does it look like when you wake up in the morning? What time do you go to bed? How are you feeling? What are you seeing? What are you driving? And so self-care, once they have that image in front of them of exactly what they want, self-care is number one, because if you are not taking care of yourself, then you are not really believing in yourself. So
yes, I totally agree.
Yeah,
that's fine.
And so that is a big one. That is a big one. You can say what you want. You can identify it. You can have the most clarity. You can meditate on it every morning. But if you're not truly, truly loving yourself and looking yourself in the mirror and loving what you see, it's going to be very difficult to happen, or it's going to feel like a huge struggle. And it doesn't need to be like that. And so, yeah, if this kind of sounds, kind of like scary, or I get it. And so it's really about kind of breaking it down into chunks that are, really digestible and doable. And that's my job, is to help my clients go from week to week to month to year to year, until they have a whole new normal, and they're experiencing what they want without, even without even kind of realizing it sometimes. Sometimes it's like, oh, when you get to what you want, you find you get it, and then you don't want it anymore because you already have it. Yeah. So always it's been right. Can you imagine what your business was like 5 years ago, Lydia? Right? And and what it's grown to now, it's been amazing to watch. I've been such a big fan of yours through the years, as I've told you. And so, you get there, and then it's like, okay, what's next?
Right. Let's go deeper.
Yeah. Let's go deeper. So, what's next? Let's move the marker out.
It's awesome. So, Nanci, as you know, I work with a lot of women on their health, and the majority of them are moms. I mean, and they have a lot of kids. I also, somehow I have a lot of homeschool moms as well. Yeah. So I do talk to them about this kind of stuff, and it is a really big struggle they almost feel guilty or they feel wrong in putting themselves first. And my thing is, listen, you've got to put on your own oxygen mask first. Like when you're on the plane, that's what they say. You can't help someone else if you can't breathe.
Yep.
And so that's my little one-liner. Listen, you've got to nourish yourself inside and out, right? Not just with food, but you need this self-care. So, and somehow women take on a martyr complex, and we just feel like we have to do everything for everyone and help everyone, and we love to do it. It's part of the beauty of who we are as women, but it can kind of, be a vicious cycle if we're not on top of this piece where we believe our own, self-care is so important to our soul as well as everyone we're caring for. So I feel like it's a big challenge for women when they're not quite there. And so I'm always giving little tips, but I'd love to hear your tips. What tips can you offer to any woman, whether she's got kids or not, who struggle with putting themselves first and putting on their own oxygen mask first?
Yeah. That's such a loaded question, and I'll just start with, I don't think there's any of us or any woman homeschooling or whatever mother, however they choose to mother their kids that doesn't struggle with, the guilt and shame of saying no. I mean, that's prevalent in the working mom community as well. So it's kind of an interesting thing because it really comes down to what you believe is the definition of a good mother and where that came from in your life. What your mother was like, what your grandmother was like, what your great-great-grandmother was like. So that leads me to one of my favorite paradigms, which can be kind of like, I don't know, it can kind of make moms feel, I know when I first heard this, I felt really uncomfortable, but it really, really resonated with me, which is, because we all, like I said, we all feel kind of guilt, mom guilt. I mean, yeah, totally. And it's the suffering obligations of love. And it's the way, and this is not just with moms, this is actually with your partner and many different things, situations in life. But it's the way we show our love by putting ourselves last on the list, essentially. So it's an unworkable way of saying I love you, which it doesn't really make sense. It's like we are saying, like, I'm so devoted to you, and I want to give you so much love that I'll actually suffer in an effort to say I love you. And so, yeah, that is, and it's unworkable. There's no extra that love that really comes from it when you're not really able to take care of yourself and love yourself. It's not really helpful. So, number one of the most important thing is you have to know what you want and what you want to be experiencing and what your best interest is. And that takes connecting with yourself on a daily basis. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. You have to have that time that's completely quiet and dedicated to you. It doesn't have to be some kind of big, lengthy self-care routine where you're going to yoga, and it doesn't have to be like that. So really connecting with what's in your heart, what you want to be experiencing, being honest with yourself. Am I tired? Am I worn out? What do I really need? And not really worrying about the how. Don't worry about the how or what's going to, how the guilt or the shame of, oh my gosh, if I were to actually take a whole half day to myself or a whole day to myself. Because for some women, that's really, really challenging. I know for me, it used to be extremely challenging. So really really connecting with yourself on a daily basis, being honest with yourself where you're at and how you're feeling, right? So that's where you are, that's your present state, how you're feeling today. Going into your desired state, what you want to be feeling and experiencing that you're not. And putting yourself on your schedule, getting the calendar out, putting yourself in every single week of non-negotiable time. So if you're not spending very much time away from your kids, and let's say now, then start with 5 minutes, start small, start with something that's doable, where you're really lighting a candle, moving around, laying on the foam roller, whatever it is. Connecting with yourself and write it down every day. Write down how you're feeling and what you want to be experiencing, and then put yourself on the calendar. to kind of, what happens is people say, oh yeah, I want this, I know I need this, I don't feel good. And then they call someone like us, nutritional therapy practitioner. They will say, I'm all in. They get an amazing protocol that to completely heal them and whatnot, but they're not either, a lot of times they don't follow through because they're not connected to what they need to be doing.
Yeah.
And so it's always out, and not going inward, right? That's kind of, it's called working, Pelchek. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pelchek. He's amazing. So I did his holistic lifestyle course a million years ago, but you have to have the equal working in with the equal working out, and we know motherhood is a workout. So you best be working in too.
Yeah. I just love all this so much, and I wanted to say something and kind of head towards this whole guilt piece because that is so pervasive and huge. So I'm having a conversation with a colleague, and I've been having this conversation in my head and to various people lately. I'm a single mother. I have 4 kids. So I get up in the morning and my brain is on fire. I have like a million thoughts going on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to get my own time right now. But guess what? I got to get kid number 1 out the door, and then and they're all 4 of them going out the door at a different time, to a different school, to a different bus. So it's crazy pants. So I have been saying, I just want someone else to do this morning routine. I want to get up and go do what I want to do. And, it's right now, it's not possible. It's not tangible because I can't, hire a nanny or something. But some people will say to me, well, you can't get out of being a mom. And I go, no. I don't want to get out of being a mom. I love my kids. But if I'm cranky every morning and yelling at them because in my brain, I really feel this time of day is important to my well-being, to my business and so forth. And men typically will get to do this because, typically, I'm not trying to be chauvinist here or whatever the word is, but, typically they'll get to leave, and it's usually the woman who's, handling the kids. Not always. I understand that sometimes it's different, but it's still pretty much, mainly common. And so I'm sitting there thinking, no, I'm not going to feel guilty for feeling like this. There's nothing wrong with this desire I have because in the long run, it's going to benefit me and them. And it may not be something I do forever, but so that's just one example of a desire that I have that I can be tempted to feel guilty about because as a mom, I should just suck it up and do everything and love loving my kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
totally.
So I just kind of want to use that example because I know every woman, and it doesn't have to be mothers only. I'm sure there's something that women without kids feel guilty about too. But I think this whole guilt piece of putting ourselves first is so huge. And I kind of would love to hear maybe some of your thoughts on how you could share with women and encourage them to kind of be able to shake that and feel okay with their desires. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And so here it is in black and white. You're going to feel guilty about certain decisions and choices you make. It's really important, as human beings, we make meaning out of everything. We have in our head what it means to be a good mother from the first day, we give birth. Whether we think we do or we don't, we do. We have a belief system about what it means to be a good mother. Well, that totally changed in my world in the last 8 years. And motherhood for me looks a lot different than it did for my mother and my grandmother and great-grandmother. And this is an amazing time for women. We have choices now. There's all kinds of different choices. So you may feel guilty, and my advice to you is to do it anyway and to not make meaning out of it. So in your perfect example of, having somebody come and support you in the morning and doing that, making that mean, that you are an empowered woman who is really, really setting herself up for happiness and success and an amazing example to her sons. And so really finding new ways to look at it. I mean, what if that example of what you're doing, what if that completely changes the type of girl your son decides he wants to date? Right. And so, the choices that we make, they're just, what if that changes everything for them. So, it's really, really raising the bar and really separating our love from our behavior. So, of course, that rope of love is still there and so flowing so deeply, but just choosing to do things in a little bit of a different way. So the intention is still there to love your son deeply. That hasn't changed. But the method that you are using to love them has evolved, totally evolved. So I think that's pretty darn amazing. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I totally love that. That's such a kind way to phrase it. And to also look to that piece of, I've thought about that so many times, I don't want to raise my boys to find a woman who will run circles around them and just do everything for them, So So that's another level of kind of digging into it that I think not all women are going to see some of those pieces, and it's so great to have someone else helping you flesh this out so that you are like, oh my gosh, you're so right. I was just feeling guilty. You know what I mean? So that's a cool,
and you're going to feel guilty. As a mom, I think that's a really hard, I think it's kind of even ridiculous to say, oh, don't feel guilty, because you're going to. But do it anyways. Guilt's not really a useful emotion.
Sure.
Either way. It doesn't really serve you in any way. So just know that it's going to be there and, take that step and decide how it feels. You can always step back. Yeah, you can always step back. It's your choice. It's your life. So you can do that and say, oh my gosh, this didn't feel good. I'm going to go back to what I was doing and maybe try something different. So it's really about creating, the freedom to choose for yourself.
And the more you do it, the easier it gets. So, it's going to be really uncomfortable at first. And I like how you tell us to accept the guilt. Like, don't try to tell somebody, don't feel guilty about feeling guilty because it's going to be there. We have to just work through it. And the more that we put ourselves on the front burner, it's like creating a new habit. Like, soon you're not going to feel that anymore because you're used to putting yourself first.
Exactly. And that's what I do with my clients. It's really helping them different without having to think about it. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this. I never thought I can't believe this is going to be possible for me. And then they're kind of like, they'll start to kind of feel a little bit like, wait, what was it that I wanted? It's like, oh, I already have it. Or I already have a big chunk of it. Okay, let's move the marker out. What do you want next? What's next?
Right.
Yeah. And so it's pretty amazing work. I just feel so incredibly grateful that I've been able to spend the last couple of years moving into it. So it's been a great experience for me personally.
Yeah, it's great. You're going to help so many women who just need to be told it's okay to put themselves first, because we don't live in a culture that really cultivates self-care in any form. So, even for me, like I said, like a year ago, that was the first time that I really started paying attention to this whole theory of self-care. And it seemed so difficult at first. And even now I still have those days where I'm just like, oh, I really need to do this for myself, but I have all this work I have to do, or I have to clean the house, or I have errands I have to run, So.
Yeah. So something else always, this is what happens to us. Something else always seems more important than us. We're getting ready to go out into, something to take care of ourselves. It's on our calendar. And, oh my gosh, what happened? I was going to go, but then so-and-so needed this, or then I remembered I needed to do this, or, then I saw my favorite show was on. There's always, that's kind of just something that is really, really, really common with women, of something that bumps you to the back. And so really being consciously aware of that, and really, having the strategies to know what to do when that when that keeps happening, because it will happen. It happens to me.
Sure.
Yeah. And just, I have to tell you, I'm so passionate about helping women, just like you're describing, Lydia, with all the moms. My first 2 or 3 years of motherhood, I barely left my child. Barely. And my husband was overseas in Iraq most of the time. And it was like, people would be like, can I help you? Can I help you? Like, no. I don't need help. until I wanted to have another baby, and I couldn't. And I was not getting pregnant, and I was miscarrying, and I was like, oh, okay. You know, sometimes those things need to happen, you know, in order to get our attention. So yeah, so I really suffered. And, you know, a lot of times if we grew up with a mom that did everything, then, you know, that's kind of what we fall into. If you take a look back at how you were mothered, you know, we have, you know, kind of the mother in all of us. And I help women too that are, you know, in their 50s and 60s who didn't get this information, you know,
right.
And so like now is their time and they get to go kind of like, you know, go back and really, nothing's changed for them. They still don't take time for themselves. The same thing. They're just in a different phase of life. So now really, and in some ways, I'll tell you the truth, it's just as hard for them, even though they don't have young kids anymore, than it is a lot of times for the mothers that have young kids or kids. And so it just goes to show that it's not all about, we think it's about kids, you know, oh, I have young kids, but it's really about what we believe is possible for us. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I have to say, from a nutritional standpoint, let's just go there for 1 second.
Yeah.
You know, I'm working with these people who are exhausted. They're burnt out. You know, they're struggling. And I'm seeing the people who just keep on the go, 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 go. You know, don't stop, breathe, you know. And even for me personally, when I just like allowed myself to Netflix binge, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I love that,
totally.
You know. It wasn't like me being lazy. It was me being like totally, I need this time to just completely unplug from my own brain and just enter this fun time. And so I know for me personally, I feel so much better health-wise, you know, and my adrenals are loving me when I'm saying, hey, let's just relax. Let's just chill out. Let's go sit in the bath. Let's, you know, I'm going to just go to this place that I like and just sit there and read a book or whatever it is. So from like an actual physiological standpoint, this whole piece is connected hugely. So these two things intersect, you know, massively. So, you know, the longer you're in this kind of mode of not giving this time to yourself or taking away, let's say it's taking away from yourself. Do you know what I mean? So you're totally going to feel it in your physical health as well as your, you know, all kinds of things. So that's a big deal too. So, and I think you have like a Thrive list that, you know, you share with people, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just add on to what you said is we know as nutritional therapists, you know, the body can't heal if it's not in a parasympathetic state. If you are constantly sympathetic, and which, you know, is that fight or flight side of your autonomic nervous system, and you're go, 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 and you don't stop for, you know, to be able to rest and digest and really stimulate that parasympathetic side, which is really common in most moms. And we won't get into that because certainly it can be dominant on the parasympathetic side too. But if you're someone that goes, 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 and you don't stop and allow your body to heal, it's not going to be able to. It's kind of like had your brilliant Facebook post that was, if you know, stress is going to undermine, you know, even the best supplement. I think is what you said. And it's so true. It's so true. And I see that all the time. So, and you know, it's a hard pill to swallow. But yeah, so Thrive List, and this is different for everyone. So I have people come up with their own list and what they need to thrive. So, and I'm talking about thriving, not surviving. So that's a whole other show of, you know, how we all kind of fall into that survival pattern. So yeah, this is like for me, you know, food, eating real food, and not only eating it, but how you eat it. So sitting down, taking, you know, if people can get this sounds so silly, but if you can get up to 20 minutes per meal, just sitting there and eating your food. I mean, really, no matter what it is, I think that part is harder for people than getting good food, is being able to sit down, enjoy, relax, and eat it, especially for moms. Yeah. Enough water, exercise or movement. And I say movement because it could be anything. I mean, some days for me, it's laying on the foam roller. It's just stretching for 10 minutes. And like, that's that's just perfect for me. It wouldn't make sense for me to go running or to lift weights or whatnot. So really honing in on what your body needs that day. Stress relief. What do you do to relieve stress? I mean, we all have it. Is it going to yoga? Is it meditation? Is it, what do you love to do? What raises your vibrations? What makes you say, oh my God, yes, I would love to be able to, paint twice a week, or I would love to, and this is really where it comes down to what you really, really, really want. So it doesn't really do any good to eat the good food, drink water, even if you think you're getting the perfect workout, if really what's in your heart and your soul is not really alive and you're not really allowing it to be expressed. And so, I always know that I'm on the right track with someone when they're like, oh, I really would love to be doing this. Or I would really I'd love to go dancing. And it's just like they completely light up. And then you know what? It's not about the, well, you better eat this much protein and da-da-da-da-da. Like that just falls into place because they are happy. They're not completely, kind of in that vibration that's a little bit lower where they're just not sure in kind of walking through the mud. It's kind of like walking through quicksand where you're just trying to make things happen and nothing's happening. So really, really, really pouring that love right into yourself really helps the other things to fall into place. Creativity, passion, connection to the people that are around you, even strangers. So really, being present as you are going about your day. And then, like I said, my number one tip really for moms is really connecting to your desires and what you want and making sure that all parts of you are heard. So, yeah.
Awesome. That's a beautiful list. I love it.
Oh, and sleep. That's like, that's a big one for moms. That's a big one for moms.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you find this, but I have found this with a lot of my stay-at-home moms and homeschool moms is that since they're with their kids all day, they'll stay up really late at night because that's their time to themselves. Not always, but a lot of times that happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's a biggie. And I am kind of, being a single mom for so long, my sleep was pretty interrupted. Having kids for ever since I was having them, I didn't get good sleep. You have to realize this. I don't think people connect to that. Like, okay, so I have 4 kids, ages whatever and under. Pretty much I haven't gotten disrupted sleep for that long, right? So, I totally, that was a big one for me. Like, okay, when I finally moved on from my marriage, it was like, okay, it's all about my sleep. And kids, you're going to bed, boom, done, sleep. And I was vigilant. It was like my thing.
Yeah.
I was protective of it. I was so like, this is happening come hell or high water. and I tell people about that one for sure because again, the whole guilt thing will creep in and we're like, oh, but I have so much I didn't get to do or whatever. Yeah. And whole vicious cycle. But yeah, that's a biggie.
Yeah. Yeah. And just the temptation, like you're saying, just to get things done or just to have space. And that's tricky because that's the time you need to restore. If you've been on all day, going,
sure,
you're not getting the time to restore, and that you're taking from the bank account.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It has to be paid back. It has to be paid back, or you will pay, and that's just the way it works. And as we know, I mean, genes I think do have a big effect on it. Because for some people, depending on your genetics, people really, really, really truly suffer. And, we can't afford in this day and age. We have so much toxicity and autoimmune going around. We can't afford to, some people really, truly, truly can't afford to miss sleep at all. So yeah, it's really, really important. And that's getting mom sleep is one of the number one things that should be a priority for families. And, as your kids get old enough to really be able to understand and appreciate that, is really letting them know, moms need to rest too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we need to stand up for ourselves on that front. And that's a good one. That's a good one that you may find. I'm sure you have to hash that out with people quite a bit. So
yeah. And really, this is the thing that you really have to believe is that when you invest in you, you are investing in the people around you. When you are loving yourself, you're loving them. When you're not loving yourself, then you're loving them, but there's a disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
The love's not going to be able to flow the way it is if you're really pouring into yourself. So it's much more powerful if you're able to show up really being fully yourself. And,
So how can people get in touch with you? Through your website? Kind of what services are you offering? Tell people how they can contact you if they are ready to kind of take that step where they know they want to put themselves first, but they need some help getting there because they just don't feel like they know how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, in January, I usually do 5 of these a month, but January is such a busy month and people, are generally really wanting to jump on taking care of themselves. So I'm doing 10 free 30-minute strategy sessions about giving clarity around really what you want and you want to be experiencing. So people come away with those sessions really having a strong idea of what's stopping them or slowing them down. And, for some people listening to this, it will feel so overwhelming. And it's just like, oh my God, this woman is crazy. I cannot imagine doing that. And I totally get it. And this is the way I reframe it for people. It's really about letting just a little bit of love in where, every day where it couldn't get in before. So it's just a little bit each day. It's not any drastic change or anything like that. And so letting a little bit of that love in every day. So you'll want to, I think we're going to provide a link to my scheduler. These sessions go really, really fast. I love doing them. They're so fun and so rewarding for me. And so 10 free clarity sessions. And so take advantage of that. And then I have also a free gift on my site, which is reviveandthrivenutrition.com, all spelled out. And it's 5 secrets to setting goals that stick. Because we all know that January, February, March, we all have good intentions to really dive in. And, a couple months later, we're like, wait, what did we want? What? And so these are the 5 things you have to have and be doing. And so that you get to July and you're like, oh, I already got that. Okay, let's move on to something else. So definitely take advantage of that. Click on that, get the free gift. I also have an opt-in for my newsletter if you'd like to be a part of that and hear about my offerings throughout the year. And I also will have a group program in January around behavior and busy. I also work around identity, and that really takes place more in my one-on-one work with people and really speaks to how you really identify yourself in the world and really improving the relationship with yourself and opening possibilities that are, you might not have realized were there for you. So it's really about honoring your dreams and making them happen in a way that is exciting and easier than you think. And when I work with people one-on-one like that, their behavior changes. It's so much easier because they now believe that there's this whole world of possibility and that they're being completely loved and supported by the universe. And so they're like, okay, let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, true. It's totally true.
So yeah, so thank you. So there's a couple different ways to take advantage of my services. So I hope you do.
Awesome. Yeah, and we'll include all of the information. If you're on the site listening to the podcast or YouTube, we'll have all the links there so you can just click right over and go say hi to Nanci on her site and get signed up and learn more about her services and things like that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you stopping by and talking with us today. I've learned so much from you just in the 45 minutes that we've been talking. So you've really given me a lot of food for thought. And I know that so many of our listeners are going to be hopefully inspired and motivated and just some food for thought on how they view themselves and the importance of the self-care and taking care of themselves and, making that time in their schedule. So I really appreciate that. Lydia, do you have anything that you want to close with?
I'm totally booking a session with you, Nanci. Just so you know.
Let's do it. Yes, I know.
See, I need this. I need this too.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, so I love it. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for coming. And you guys, Nanci is a beautiful, shining light, just like she has expressed her voice to you. Maybe you felt that. I hope you did, because I totally do. And so take advantage of getting this kind of a, lift and kind of let that be, transform you into more vibrancy. I think that you'll love her stuff. I've read some of it. It's amazing. So
awesome. Thank you guys so much. So much.
Yes, thank you.
I really appreciate the opportunity to tell my story and share my passions with you guys. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing that. So I guess we're going to wrap up for today, but if you have any questions about this episode, please don't hesitate to let us know. You can contact all three of us, depending on who you want to talk to. If this information resonated with you and you know other people who could benefit from it, we would love it if you could share it. We'd also really appreciate it if you could leave us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. If you're on our sites or YouTube listening to this, we'll have links to where you can leave a review below. And if you're on iTunes already listening to it, you can just leave a review straight through there. Same with Stitcher. Your shares and reviews of our podcast episodes help us reach more people with our message of health and wellness. So we really, really appreciate it. Please don't forget to stop by and say hi to Nanci on her site, reviveandthrivenutrition.com, and make sure you join her newsletter. She has a ton of great information on her site, and she's a wealth of knowledge on everything she talked about today, as well as functional nutrition and heart-centered coaching. So definitely check her out. And then if you're looking for more information on health and wellness, both Lydia and I have a ton of information on our site. You can find me at jessicaespinoza.com, which is my main practice website, and where I'll offer my 21-day sugar detox coaching services and some other services to come in 2016. And you can find me over on deliciousobsessions.com, which is my main real food and natural living website. So if you're looking for recipes and natural living information, definitely check that out. You can find Lydia at divinehealthfromtheinsideout.com, and Lydia offers nutritional therapy consultations and hair tissue mineral analysis services for those who are ready to take their health to the next level. And then lastly, if you have any suggestions for topics you'd like us to cover on future episodes, we would love to hear from you. We want to make these podcast episodes as much help to you and inspiration to you as we possibly can. So we'd love to hear if there's anything that you are just dying to hear us talk about. You can either leave us a comment down below, or you can email us and just let us know what you think. And we both look forward to serving you and inspiring you to live the healthiest, happiest life possible. So we're going to sign off. Have a great day, everyone.